Tia Ballard.
This is Todd Habercorn.
This is David Vincent.
Hey, this is Sam Witwer.
This is Phil Lamar.
And you are listening to the Points of Interest.
Points of Interest.
Points of Interest.
And you're listening to Points of Interest Podcast Network.
Keep listening.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Points of Interest Podcast. This is the most generic podcast on the internet. My name is Josh Hawks. I am the 303 Ninja. And right over there is my very happy, smiling podcast partner for life. He is the other guy. It's Mr. Francis Fernandez.
That was so nostalgic. That was really nostalgic. I enjoyed that.
You know, I was gonna edit out the network part.
Oh, the network part?
But
yeah.
it's too hard. The cadence of the words would have been off.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, look, it's fine. People know.
Well, they know now.
Yeah, if anything, they know now. But that was really nice. Just to hear. It's just you know, it's
nostalgic.
It brings me to a time when we used to like really do more stuff.
When we knew more people.
Well, no, I mean,
we didn't really know a lot of them. That was
it's
the
not
problem.
that we knew, but also you were doing, I think, 2 or 3 different podcasts at the time. You're doing 2 J's Later and like
appearing on everybody's show.
Yeah, back when you were interesting. I think you're a part of.
Mm-hmm.
You
think?
Well, no, I think it's during that time.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
It was.
Because I think I used that in my. I'm pretty sure I used your bumpers because these shows were part of the Points of Interest Podcast Network.
Yes. At one time when we were much more ambitious and safety in numbers or something. I don't know, but
yeah.
It's funny, Francis, because when we had a table at the 2015, still known as Denver Comic-Con at the time, when we started doing a live recording from the floor, from our table, I remember saying, this is the Points of Interest podcast. And everybody giggled and thought it was stupid. Here we are now. Basically recording the Points of Interest podcast.
Yeah, because if I recall, you were trying to think of something to, like, you're trying to bring back staying off topic. Or no, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, it doesn't sound right. I don't know why. But, you're trying to revive that in one way or shape or form. And, it came to be the Points of Interest podcast as a way of it's a reinvention of an old idea.
I mean, every show I've done is just a reinvention of an old idea, so.
Well, we are from an era of... Because now you have to be very, very focused on a thing. Like, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts as much as I used to, but the ones that I do listen to, it's only about this one thing. Like, it's only about Apple computers. It's only about real crime, true crime murders. That's it. We are just like, well, this thing happened over here. We're going to talk about, this thing over here.
It has no connection to the first thing we were talking about.
No.
Yeah. I mean that's kind of how natural conversation goes.
It's the most generic podcast on the internet for a reason.
I mean, it's fitting.
That's the next you need to have your next voice actor / actor if you can get them to do a bumper. We do this is the Points of Interest podcast, the most generic podcast on the internet. Like, you need them to say that, yeah.
No, that'll be the new one, yeah. Because then I can cut that up. Have fun with that. I was very proud of that bumper when I cut it up all together. I was like, look at all these people I have.
Really good.
I was like, let's use my audio editing skills and see what we can do.
I think it's only missing speedy delivery and
which I can always add to it.
Yeah.
Because I still
But I
have
think
all the original sound bites to build it, to build it up again.
I think it's only 2 people you're missing, which is him and one other person that you got a bumper from.
I believe
But
you're right.
Yeah, but the Mr. Rogers guy I remember the most because you were so excited to talk to him.
Yeah, well, I mean,
yeah. No, I get it.
originally that convention, I was supposed to interview Big Bird, the speedy
Yes.
delivery guy, David Newell from Mr. Rogers, speedy delivery mailman, and I was supposed to do the Sesame Street panel, but got bumped for somebody that apparently was on the show once when he was a kid and went by some single named character name person.
It's a big deal. Come on.
Like,
It's a little
like
bit of
The Edge or, like something like that.
yeah.
It was something like that, and he,
Bono, yeah.
yeah. And I was all butthurt, but it's all right.
Yeah.
It's some fucking
It worked out.
convention moderator woes.
How you been though, man? How's it been? How's the week been? We're recording on a Wednesday.
We are recording on a Wednesday because work actually sent me to another city, 2 hours from here, and decided to have me work there for the day, and a 2-hour drive back, and then try to eat something, and then attempt to be funny or whatever this is. It wasn't in the gas tank last night.
As someone who used to drive as a job, it takes a lot of energy out. It tires you out, man. I get it. I hated it. I hated driving. I mean, I didn't hate driving, but I hated the feeling afterwards because I was tired afterwards. You get tired.
I mean, long distance trips. Yeah, I mean, you're in an odd kind of position. I can understand that, but
yeah.
I don't know. As an adult, you can stop, stretch. As a kid driving someplace,
You sleep.
well, I mean, yeah, as you're being driven, you can
Sure.
sleep. Maybe if you're friends, maybe that when you're driving long distance with your friends, maybe that's the best thing to do because then you're completely relaxed. So when the car crashes, you're probably going to be the only survivor.
Well, wait a minute. I hope that's not the story you're going to tell. But
No.
So were you always the one who drove long distances whenever you went far with your friends in high school or
No.
whatever?
I didn't have a license until I was a senior in high school
Okay.
because I didn't need to go get a license. Everybody that I knew had a car and they drove me wherever I wanted to go because I wanted to go the same place they were going. The guy that I was an apprentice for, worked for, he just picked me up from school, took me to wherever we were going to go do things. So I didn't need to drive. But then, it came time you need to drive. Mostly when girls started taking an interest in me. I always had an interest in them. They just weren't interested in me.
Sure.
But then it was like, all right, yeah, I can pick you up in my parents' car, or I can get my own car.
Oh.
Went and did that. I went and got the first car I ever owned was a 1972 Dodge Charger. Basically, the Dukes of Hazzard car. A little newer than what they used on the show, but basically the same shape. Learned all my car control in that car. But that's not the car I did any long. Like I said, to answer your question, no, I was not the driver for any long distance things. I was always the passenger, navigator, cop radar. I was all of these things. Yeah. Snack maker,
We made snacks.
I mean, if you had snacks, you'd have to, hey man, maybe you brought a sandwich. The driver can't be like, hey, where's the sandwich? And turn around and look for it. He's going to ask for it. Cooler's probably going to be in the back.
True.
So,
all right.
You prep the sandwich, maybe a drink. The person in the front seat is also a radar, part-time DJ. and part-time navigator.
Really? I would think that the passenger, whoever got shotgun, was like the navigator because they're right beside the driver, so they see
Hey.
the same.
Ask our ex-agent why did she pick me to be the navigator when I was in the back seat. I don't know where the fuck I am. I'm in fucking Philadelphia. I've never been here before.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, yeah, okay. Look, not everyone.
That's why I'm known as Magellan on the east coast of this country.
All these people. Yeah, I would love to hear like I'd love to get a reaction from like a Gen Alpha or something. It's like, just use your navigation. Just
Right.
use your GPS.
Well, okay, so what I'm getting to, what we're trying to get to anyway, that was nice of you to start slipping in that in and start talking about it.
Yeah.
I got to thinking, I saw some people talking, out and about, younger people. You could tell they're younger, new drivers because they always got to walk with their keys in their hands, or they have a really long lanyard,
Yeah.
and it got me thinking about,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we've been with our friends driving places. We've been with our parents. We were with the driving instructor, whatever the hell.
Sure.
But do you remember your first real long distance drive by yourself, completely by yourself? Obviously, well, it's not obvious, but before our GPS accessibility, where, okay, I don't know where you lived when you were a kid, but let's just say you lived where you are and someone told you to go down to San Diego. You'd never driven there before. I don't know what your experience was, I'm asking, but do you recall a time where you had to drive by yourself? I don't know.
Oh yeah. So I didn't start to drive. Okay. So my first car, I guess, so we were talking about first cars, was a 1985 Volvo 740. So it's a tank. Gigantic
very
tank
much
of a car.
a box on wheels.
Oh yeah.
It had
it's
no
literally
personality on the outside.
none. But you could run through walls and people,
Yes.
no problem.
No, not at all.
Like you wouldn't feel anything.
Nope.
So that car wasn't really meant for long driving. It wasn't until I got my Corolla afterwards that I think I had my first long distance driving. But I had, unlike most people probably, I didn't do my real first long distance drive until I was in my 20s.
Okay.
And by then, Verizon had its own navigation system on their phones before GPS was kind of like their own GPS thing. But before it was like kind of a thing, like Google Maps was a thing. Google Maps didn't exist.
Sure.
MapQuest was the only thing. But like, I used that as my navigation on my phone.
Okay.
So I'd navigate using
Probably
like,
burn through all your data in like 6 blocks.
Yeah. And the battery. Well, the battery was on a flip phone, so those ones actually lasted a week.
Right.
So instead of a week, it lasted like 2 days instead of a week. But
Right.
yeah, so that was my. I don't remember where I was driving to, but I do remember, like my earliest memories of at least driving far was using an old, like Nokia flip phone, with the Verizon branded USB or GPS navigation system.
Okay.
Like, this is amazing. It was awesome. And so I never used paper maps. I never had to. So I didn't use paper maps. I mean, I did.
Sure. I didn't necessarily use a paper map, but I did. I looked at the MapQuest.
Yeah.
So I was probably, I want to say around 97, 98.
Oh,
I'd have to
okay.
go back and look as to when I purchased this RX-7.
So you have evidence.
Well, I just, I probably do. I have a box of keepsake stuff over here in the closet. I bet you this wrestling ticket stub is in this box. So I can tell you what date it is. But I want to say it's mid to late 90s and only had MapQuest. I didn't own a printer. So I had to just write everything down on a piece of paper and got in the car and drove south to Colorado Springs to go watch a wrestling event live. As it was just, I remember it vividly because it was such a big event for me. I don't think I'd even been to Colorado Springs, much less driven there by myself. So driving there for, an hour and a half, and when you don't know where the fuck you're going, an hour and a half is a long time.
It can be, yeah.
And there's nothing really I can try to equate it to with driving in the greater part of LA, because you're just surrounded by buildings and houses everywhere, and
We don't have open roads near most of if you count most of Southern California, you have to go out of your way.
right. You had to go
To
pretty
find open road.
inland to get to there's a section of I-25 leading from Denver, the metro area, down to Colorado Springs that is commonly referred to as the Gap, because there's nothing there. It's just land.
Okay.
And so, I mean, that part of the drive is boring as shit. I mean, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But it's boring as shit because there's nothing, there's no gas stations. There's nothing until you hit the next major, major city. Then you hit a town. But, I remember it vividly. Going to the wrestling event, I don't remember as much. I mean, I remember having a great time. But then driving back, I remember just as vividly, because I had to look at my directions now at nighttime and reverse them, to get back to the freeway. I knew once I hit the freeway, I would eventually hit my neighborhood and be like, oh, okay, I recognize this finally.
When you had to navigate through landmarks and
I mean, I still do that.
yeah. I mean, yeah. But less and less though.
Sure.
Right? I don't navigate through places I've been to before, even though I'm not there frequently, but I've been there enough where I should technically know where things are. I don't bother remembering them. I got GPS to tell me where things are. I don't have to remember where anything is.
Oh, dude, I've been seeing the same girl for 2.5, 3 years now. And she got it. She hits me up every once in a while. She's like, can you send me your address again? Yes.
You don't have to remember. You just don't.
Yeah.
There's no reason to.
Yeah, it's.
So I get it.
I don't know. I remember, driving. As long as I went to the place at night, I'd be able to get there during the day without any problem. But if I got there, if I been to the place during the day and tried to get there to the same place at night, didn't work the same. I had to do it at night first.
Oh, I see.
I don't know why, dude. I'm fucking weird, but it made more sense, if I was going at nighttime for the first place. I'm back, and then 2 days later, I'm like, oh, I've got to go to the same place. It's noon. No worries. It just stuck in my head. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, you heard those kids talking about traveling. I mean, I get it. I have that same kind of thought process too. And I hear somebody, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, so different. Life is so different as a young person. It's weird because again, I don't feel old. I don't feel like I'm my age. And so when I hear a 20-something talk, it's like, yeah, we're equals. We're equals in age, maybe not ability, but we're equals. We're equals in age. I know what you're talking about. I know what your words are saying. I know your slang.
Right.
Right. So it's we're not different, you and I. And it's no, we are, because you're 20 years older than I am.
Right.
You're double my age. You don't know what I'm talking. You don't know what's going on. Yeah, I kind of do, but yeah. So, all right.
You're worried about, fucking fashion and everything else, and not
it's not
something
just
that actually matters.
Yeah. It's just that the internet's the equalizer. Now that you have the internet, you know everything. You know what the young people are thinking. You know what the young people are into. So it's
well, I mean, at the same time, it'd be really great to have years of experience in front of you to be able to, get on the internet and research. Say you want to be a paid gamer, streamer person.
Well, sure.
Right? And that's all you do is game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's resources out there to show you how to do that. Whereas people, hey, they're like, oh, we're just trying it. Quit my job. Now I'm hoping I make enough money.
And I hate the ones who succeed. No offense to them. They earned it, but Jesus, I hate them so much.
Right. Well, it's because, Francis, we don't have this personality where we're like, all right, hey, we're going to do this now. And scream all the time when we do things. And,
yeah. Like, I do watch, like, I watch a couple streamers because they play games that I'm interested in. So I like to watch them play stuff that I've done because I don't know. I'm old, so I don't remember everything as well as I used to. So I'm like, oh, now I'd love to refresh my memory on like things, and they'll play it. And it's always, oh, hey, yo, no way, bro, no, bro, I'm gonna have that. Like, it's a lot of like over, like everything is so exaggerated.
mm-hmm.
Here we are, just kind of like, and so blah 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 blah. But like, it's like that.
Here's the section of the show where we just sound like fucking boomers, but
we are. Come on.
I was eating lunch the other day in a public setting, and there was somebody near me that was watching videos, probably on a TikTok or something, and listening without headphones, earbuds, whatever, so I can hear what this guy's listening to, and all it is people screaming, "What the fuck?" and "What the fuck is this?" and he's rolling, tearing up, laughing. I'm like, I can hear what you're listening, and that's not funny. Maybe the visual is with it.
You have to see it.
But all it is someone screaming into the microphone where it's distorting the speaker. Like, I thought you alpha kids knew fucking production at this point.
No, they don't. No. Well, they're too tired because they're streaming, doing subathons for 3 days straight and
doing the 50 guy backdoor challenge and then getting surgery afterward. Fix your
no
asshole.
Comment. No comment.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm just amazed that it's still a thing. No offense to OnlyFans people. I'm like, how is that still a thing?
I mean,
like, it's so mocked now. It's like mocked so often. Like, don't you feel a little like not necessarily like dirty, but just kind of like, oh yeah, this was yesterday's thing. I don't feel cool anymore doing this. Like, it's not as cool as it was.
Let me offer a different perspective, or whatever.
Yeah.
I have 2 friends that were very much doing a lot of OnlyFans.
Okay.
And then met a dude and then deleted everything. All connections to the sexy pictures. Starts all new social media as a whole new person. That, to me, is more interesting.
That is super interesting because I don't know. Because the question comes up sometimes, it's like, how would you feel dating someone who was an OnlyFans model?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people would say, no, pass. Like, can't do it. Everyone's seen what they look like naked. They might have had, even if they were just solo and they didn't have like someone they were doing stuff with, like, that's kind of gross. But I don't know. I don't know how much that would affect me. I don't know how much I would care. I mean, I'm old now, so it doesn't really matter. But
right. I mean, and I'm not talking shit or nothing. I just thought, I guess I am a little bit, but
yeah.
I just thought it was really funny to watch one of them, disappear from social media and then reappear. I can't. I'm breaking too much kayfabe.
Well, here's the question, though. Here's the
but
question.
a different
Did-
reappearing with a different personality and interests that up to this point had not been there.
But did her old fans recognize her in her new persona?
They're completely disconnected from all of that. Like I don't know, who, I know the person personally
Right.
and would see their spicy posts,
Well, I'm
their
gonna say, 'cause I
their
was gonna say,
promotional stuff.
Yeah.
Their-
Yeah.
And then, like I said, it was just funny, seeing their Facebook, life, their real life. Oh, you met somebody, and then all the sexy, spicy stuff kind of ceases, and then you just notice that it's just gone. And then, reappear as a new personality.
Okay.
was-
I mean, good on them.
I mean, sure. I mean, like I
awesome.
said, I guess I'm talking shit a little bit, but I just thought it was very interesting that you went. Both of these people went from very spicy content, promoting their spicy content, often.
Well, a dude made an honest woman out of her.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I just thought it was just interesting to see personality switches, or maybe they were always there and they were. I don't know. It was just weird. Like, whoa, you're a different person now. Yeah.
Having not known anyone like that, I can't relate.
Well, I know a lot of different kinds of peoples, Francis, and
Oh, you are very well versed in people.
I like to.
A cavalcade of people.
I think it's good because that way you have a nice selection of different personalities you can learn a lot from.
That's very true. Very true.
And red flags to look out for as well. I don't know. I need more short people, like little people. I only have one. I only have one, but he's not a little person. He's just short as shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still pick him up and throw him around, But
Sure.
it's a category of friend I don't have. As a little person.
One day,
Maybe.
we'll put out an ad. Put an ad.
There you go.
Little person needed for friend.
Hey man, we're pretty good at forcing our friendship upon everybody else, so why not?
That's true. Yeah, why not?
What else do I have on here? Oh, this just happened the other day.
What
A
happened?
whole bunch of people aren't with us anymore, but it was all one person. But
You didn't do that with the other celebrities.
I know because none of them were Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
But
It's
Jim
true.
Morrison. Jim
None of
Morrison
them are Jim
died
Morrison.
again. Doc
Yeah.
Holliday died again.
Mhm.
The Iceman didn't make it out of the Tomcat. What's the other one I got here? Oh yeah, and one of the Batmans apparently.
He was what you can look. It wasn't a good movie, which I think was Batman Forever. I think was the movie he did.
Is that the
Clooney did? Because Clooney did Batman and Robin, which was the last Batman
okay,
movie.
yeah.
Which
That
doesn't
was
make
the
sense.
Holy
'cause you think
Rusted
of movie-
metal Batman, right?
That's Holy Holy Rusted Metal. No, Holy Rusted Metal was Forever, I think, because that's when he meets Robin for the first time, and they're fighting the Riddler and Two-Face, and so that's Val Kilmer.
okay.
That's Val Kilmer's Batman. George Clooney fought
George
Schwarzenegger
Clooney
and-
was the codpiece.
George Clooney was no.
No.
Everyone was the codpiece.
Okay.
Everyone had a codpiece.
Okay.
He was Nipples. He was Bat Nipples.
Clooney was?
Clooney was Bat Nipples.
Okay.
Val Kilmer was like the last one that didn't have Bat Nipples, but
Okay.
Kilmer had. Clooney had Bat Nipples.
I don't mean to sit here and make fun or nothing.
No,
I was just trying to, originally I just put Jim Morrison died again.
Which I think would have confused people because I don't know how
Yeah.
many people saw that movie.
I might be one of the only people that still has seen it recently. I liked it. I thought it was good. I never saw Jim Morrison live, but
Yeah.
the few videos I'd seen of Jim Morrison, and I look over and there's the Doors movie. I'm like, yeah, I believe it. I'm immersed.
Yeah, I mean, look, he kind of stopped doing movies because he got sick. He got sick fairly young. He's actually passed away pretty young at 65. That's a really young age, I think. Especially in Hollywood, I think that's young.
Yeah,
but he was battling all sorts of stuff. So
well,
I saw him.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we. I say we. It's the royal we.
Yes.
We had him for one of the great Philadelphia Comic-Cons. And we actually saw him walk through the lobby of the hotel that we were all staying at. With his.
Did we?
I did.
I don't remember. I don't remember him that one. The one I remember was he was in a convention in Northern California, and he had a booth. But
was it enclosed?
Again, it wasn't closed. He had a handler that would send him, and it was right. They made sure it was right by the bathroom because he had to use the bathroom a lot. So there was a handler that would send him back and forth into the bathroom. So you can take pictures with him, but you could get stuff signed. And I don't think he was talking at the point either. He had a tube in his throat.
Yeah. And I believe that was the case as well for the Philadelphia show. Maybe it was the year before you showed up, but I'm pretty damn sure you were there.
I didn't see
I
him
think
there.
the same weekend as the Alice Cooper, God rays at the elevator thing that we experienced. But he walked through the hotel lobby, and he had the neckerchief thing rocking, but he also had he also had like a playbill, like a pamphlet that he had opened, and he was walking with it in front of his face area. Probably maybe to disguise who he was, possibly. But I mean, I looked over and I was like, oh look, it's Val Kilmer. But his booth at that Philly show was completely enclosed, and they double, triple draped it. You couldn't see through it at all. Most of those booths that they do that, you're like, oh, I can see Kevin Smith through that.
Right. Yeah.
So I can see whoever, there's the Shat. You could kind of see him through the curtain, but this was like double, triple curtained.
Yeah. It's like a little maze to get to him.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
It sucks, especially in with today's medical technology. The level that we're at. We basically can rebuild everybody. It just sucks that apparently it's the pneumonia.
Well, yeah, because he had pneumonia, but he also was struggling with throat cancer for like over a decade. So I mean, he was having troubles to the point where when he did Maverick, the Top Gun sequel, he didn't speak, or he kind of. I think he mouthed words, and there was like a voiceover guy who did his.
Yeah, it was an AI. It was an AI voiceover.
Oh, AI. Okay. Yeah. So so he didn't even talk because he was that ill. But he was. I mean, it was cool that he got to reprise his role. In Maverick again. Like that was cool. But you could tell, he has definitely been struggling, and I'm glad that most people remember him as like all of these really cool characters and whatnot in films, because at least he never got into real scandal, right? Nobody he's not like nothing weird. He's never done anything weird that people are like, oh man, Val Kilmer did something weird. No, they're like, oh, he was Batman. He was the Saint.
I mean, he was for some people.
Sure. Well, yeah.
Batman.
A role that I don't think he never really talked about much afterwards, for probably good reason. But
what was that like Second City type comedy he did? Top something.
Yeah, Top Secret.
Top Secret. That was a good flick. I haven't seen it in a long time.
It if you like Airplane and like Airplane and Police Squad and Naked Gun and stuff like that, you like Yeah, Top Secret, which is a silly spy movie where kind of dumb stuff happens. And it's really funny.
Ridiculousness happens.
Yeah. But and he could do comedy, which is like, there you go. Man,
Prolific actor.
He was.
It sucks that like the last like 4 shows were like, oh, this guy died.
Huh?
The last like 4 shows were like, this person died.
Oh,
I can flip the page and I can tell you.
Well, like for George Foreman.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: we didn't interact with George Foreman. We did say he was like, you know, we did mention a couple of fun things about George Foreman, his kids, you know. Who else who else passed away that we kind of didn't?
Let me look.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Well, there went a couple weeks with nobody dying. That's nice.
Yeah, it was about a month.
George Lowe died. So the Space Ghost actor, Michelle Trachtenberg.
Oh yeah, Michelle Trachtenberg. Yeah.
There was like 3 people that died on that one. Gene Hackman.
Yeah. We said nice stuff about Gene Hackman. We said nice stuff about.
No, I'm not saying that we didn't say anything nice about all these people, but
yeah,
it's
we just have. I think he suffered the longest out of all of those people who passed away. So we knew he was suffering for a while.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference. Is we knew this was going to happen at some point. We're like, as fans, we knew at some point this was coming, just because he was sick for so long. It's like, okay, we know.
Yeah.
So it's not too much of a surprise. Like, oh well, yeah, it's 65.
That part sucks. Like I said, it sucks because it's just the advancements in medical technology, whatever.
Yeah, cancer still seems to elude us. That's the tough one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, because
that's the but yeah, he will be missed. Or big bucket of wind, whatever Silent Bob would say whenever someone passed away.
When who?
Who plays Silent Bob again?
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith, thank you. Kevin Smith did a show called Hollywood Babylon, where whenever the other host would mention a celebrity dying, he'd go, big bucket of wind, would be like as a tribute to the person, or they will be missed, was his other like little catchphrase for people who passed away.
Oh, gotcha. You did that with who?
He did that with Ralph Garman.
Ralph
his
Garman.
Co-host,
That's right.
Whom I didn't mention it just because the only person I seem to know who knows who he was Toronto Jay. He knows who Ralph Garman is.
Well, I mean, I can't say that I know he's a stand-up.
No, he was a radio. Okay. He was a radio guy down here in L.A.
Okay,
and then he did a bunch of stuff with Kevin Smith. So that's where he's mostly known for. He did a bunch of like bit parts with Kevin Smith, and did the podcast Hollywood Babylon with him.
Right. Yeah, he's a funny guy. Keep a conversation going, much that I can't.
Well, they're both improv guys.
That is true. That is, as we've seen on Super Geeked Up, I am not very good at the improv. But what else isn't good, Francis, to do on the fly?
What else isn't good? Yeah, what's not good?
Changing video game prices to.
Oh yeah.
Well, specifically, actually, no. All video game prices. I was looking. Okay. I don't like baseball's fucking boring. Sorry, baseball fans, but your fucking sport's boring.
You have to drink.
It's a great place to get hot dogs. But I enjoy playing digital baseball.
Yes.
Hey, Push is here. Yes, Push. Welcome to April. April Fools. We're doing it on a Wednesday. Yeah. Basketball. I mean, if you're into listening to things squeak, you should just get some mice. Because that's all basketball is. Squeaky shoes, they score, and then they go to the other side. Squeaky shoes, they score. Then they go to the other side. Squeaky shoes, they score. It's not very entertaining to me.
I can't say anything because I grew up with family who loved basketball, like cousins who liked basketball a lot. So
I loved it enough to play Park and Rec, as a kid, Park and Rec, city basketball. I played it for 2 years. I scored a total of 2 points in those 2 years.
Yeah.
1 free throw a year. The rest of the time, I sat on the bench because they didn't want a kid playing in jeans and combat boots.
Well, it's not indicative of a good basketball game. I'll tell you that now.
Well, I didn't have any fucking high tops. I actually did have high tops. They went up to my shin.
You ever have the shoe? Did you ever have the pump shoes? Did you ever pump your sneakers?
Before I started having major issues with sharing, especially shoes with people, yes.
I've never shared shoes with anyone.
Okay, let me back up. We're gonna lose what the fuck we're talking about. But when Batman '89 came out,
Yes. Okay.
Converse came out with a Batman themed shoe that was black
Yes.
had the yellow and the little insignia. And then they also had a Joker shoe. It was a white shoe with Joker face. Like an animated kind of Joker face all over the shoes. I was new to this school. I saw a kid that had the Batman shoes. I had the Joker shoes. That meant we were friends right away because we were into the same shit.
Yeah.
We start talking. We had the same shoe size. So we swapped shoes. So we each had one of each. And we looked fresh. But then my best friend, he had pumps. He had the Reebok pump. And when he moved on to a new pair of shoes, he gave me his pumps. And I pumped them a lot.
I wish British Knights still existed. Speaking of those types of shoes, British Knights, bring those back.
I mean, you can only win them on Double Dare.
Oh, it was only a 90s shoe. Oh, that makes me sad. Oh, now they're just called BKs. Okay. So BK still exists. Thank goodness.
Well, what were we talking about originally?
So video games are more expensive. You're going to talk about baseball.
Oh yeah.
Games.
So I like the MLB The Show video game. It's been on Game Pass the last few years. It's not coming this year to Game Pass. So if I want to play it, I got to go buy it or get it digitally. Excuse me. So I looked. One, I'm not going to pay $70 for a sports game. That's going to be done in 9 months when a new one comes out.
Right.
Then you can get the all digital deluxe version, which I guess would come with fucking extras of some sort and maybe like DLC, future DLC packs for $100 for a game that's going to be remade in a year.
It is, yes, it is remade every year. That's very true.
I don't, and there's people that pay for it. Otherwise, that wouldn't be at that price point.
Okay.
I don't understand that. And now you're going to tell me how much the Switch 2 games are going to cost.
So they announced Switch 2 today. So it's Switch Tuesday.
Which is a weird day to fucking announce anything.
Well, they didn't want to do it. They probably would have done it yesterday, but yesterday was April Fool's, and I'm like, God, we don't want to.
Why didn't they do it at WonderCon?
Well, I'll tell you in a second why
Okay.
they didn't do it at WonderCon. I'll there's a good reason why they didn't do it at WonderCon.
Okay.
But so Switch 2 came out today, or they announced it. A big deal. People are excited. A bunch of new games, or a bunch of old games are now able to. You can play them now on the Switch 2 because it's powerful enough to play games. Yay! So the big game that they're selling now is Mario Kart World Tour. I think it's called World Tour, or something like that. And everyone loves Mario Kart, right? People love Super Mario Kart.
I love
so
Mario.
excited.
I mean, I love Mario Kart and Mario Kart 64. I don't know what happened after that, but
Well, the new Mario Kart World though
okay.
is a singular track. So it's like you have the whole map to yourself. Like you can drive the whole map and then do races in different parts of the map. But you can drive the entire map, right? Ooh, exciting!
So it's Forza.
It's Forza. It's essentially Forza.
Okay.
Or Burnout Paradise if you play
Or
Burnout Paradise.
Gran Turismo.
Right. So you can go
That's
wherever you
open
want
world
in your
now,
dual
right?
cart.
GT7's open world.
I don't know. I've
Okay.
never played any of the
All right. Anyway, go on.
or Grand Theft Gran Turismo games. So they announced they did the whole presentation. They did an hour-long Nintendo Direct, which is like their little trade show thing. Like,
Yeah.
here's what you can get, and here's the specs, and blah blah blah. They didn't give a price.
Well, of course
So,
not.
like-
But $300 and up is probably a good starting point.
It's $450 for the base model.
I said it was a good starting point.
The era of the cheap, affordable gaming system is gone. It's 450
So-
off the bat, or yes,
The Switch 2, is it going to be fucking at least 1080?
1080 on the screen,
Okay.
and then if you dock it, 4K 60 on the
Okay.
dock, 1080 up to 120 hertz
Okay.
on the screen.
Okay.
And 100, and same for the dock, 1080, 120. So no more 720, which was the original.
Mhm.
Um,
Even the
thing for
OLED.
that.
OLED was a 720 screen too, wasn't it?
they did not improve on the screen with the OLED. It was just better color.
Sure.
And how bright it is. So they are now semi-modern. They now have the power of the PlayStation 4 in the Switch.
Well,
2.
so they're right up there with the Steam Deck, but
They're
not
there
as
with the Steam
capable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's equivalent. Yeah, you're right. It's what exactly it's the equivalent of Steam Deck. Anyway, so they're like, well, okay, what's the cost? So they said $450 for the thing. If you want to get Mario Kart World, $500. But what if we want to get the game by itself? It's $80 digital, $90 physical. So if you want a
So
game
it's still going to
cartridge,
have a physical drive. Switch 2.
it'll have physical drive because it's backward compatible for certain, not all, certain Switch 1 games. So not all Switch 1 games can play.
Hit pause
backward
for a
compatible.
second, Francis. Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. It's
Yeah.
going directly to you guys. Fucking backwards compatibility. Full backwards compatibility. I
just
have
confused.
I have cheap fucking emulators in this closet that do a better job at emulating the games than in-house emulators do. Do better.
Yeah.
Like,
No, they refused.
why? I have Xbox One games, not Xbox
No.
One, first Xbox games. No, I'm not saying I'm like clamoring to play them, but it'd be nice to be able to.
So yes. So now they're doing that. Also, they're not all games will be obviously that price. Not all of them will be 80 or 90, but they're just saying like the big ones, the big hitters.
The first, probably just first party, or what do they call those?
First party. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those will be anything Nintendo makes will probably be in that range. Maybe the third party ones might not be, but we don't know yet. We just don't know. So the current running theory is, which is the funny part, the current running theory is, well, Nintendo essentially broke the seal in regards to gaming prices.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Theft Auto 6 has been teased and touted for a while. They're like, oh, it's $100 game, like base. It's gonna be $100 game,
Right.
Because it can do it because Nintendo said it's okay because we're setting the base price at $80
Mhm.
for a system that isn't as powerful as a PC or a PlayStation 5 or whatever,
Right.
or an Xbox Series X. Not as powerful, but we're setting the base at 80. So that means anything more powerful than that, you could sell it for a higher price because it makes sense, right? The low end game is $80. The high end game should probably be worth more. So the theory is $100 for Grand Theft Auto 6 when it releases later this year, which is still
Right.
anticipated to be released.
Right. It's Rockstar. It'll be next year.
Well, the dude the developer dude is at least teasing. They're teasing that'll be this year. You're right. It's going to be 26, but they're teasing that'll be this year.
Rockstar hasn't put a game out on time ever.
But if they do, whether it's this year or next, doesn't matter. $100
Well, I
out
mean,
of your pocket.
here's the thing: $100 for the console version. Let's just say, because it's coming to consoles first.
Yes,
And
it'll be.
The game's toutedly gonna have tons of stuff in it and all kinds of stuff, but a computer will kick a console's ass still any day.
Oh,
and then you can mod the computer version.
Yes and no, though. See, so here's the thing: people are like, "Well, I have it." Well, now everyone's just going to go to PC. Here's why I don't think everyone's going to. I'll briefly say why I don't think everyone's going to go to PC. PC, everything has to work, which means you have to find a way to not. So there's so many different types of PCs. Games will crash because it can't always figure out like how your PC is built.
Mm-hmm.
A console will work 99% of the time because it knows what it's going into.
Sure.
And it doesn't change. It just doesn't change because you're not doing anything to it. Secondly is the 50-90 or whatever, 5090, 5080, whatever it is, the new
5th gen
NVIDIA, the new NVIDIA RTX cards. Not only are they $1,200 by themselves, you can't get one.
Right.
And, you know, people want it because that'll play the latest games and the highest quality.
Mm-hmm. So,
$500 for a system where you're guaranteed the game's going to work for the most part. Like, they're not going to send a game that doesn't work. The games are going to work. They're not going to crash. Or $1,000 or $1,200 every couple of years for games that might work, might not work if you don't have the right drivers, might work if you do have the right drivers.
Right.
Like, what do you?
They could just crash. Just cause.
They could just crash. Yeah. So I'm saying that there's incentive not to go that way.
Sure.
Is Nintendo right? No. I think what they're doing sucks because now, people believe. I don't know if I necessarily believe it. People believe this is now going to be the norm. That $80 and $90 are going to be the norm for games. I don't know if that's necessarily true.
But if you think about it, if you go back to PS1 games were the A-list games were $49.
Yep.
I think the highest game I saw was like a Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VII, something that was multi-disc, more than 3 discs.
Mm-hmm.
You could see that going for 65, 70.
Yeah.
But you had a lot of physical things to account for that $70. Nintendo cartridges were always average about $60 for A-list titles. PS1, lower titles, $35 all day. Prices have gone up. It's just like everything else has. But that's partially why I have a game for my old original Switch. Yeah. Because I refuse to pay $60 for a handheld game.
I get it.
I'm playing on a 720 screen. I bought the fucking thing in 2020. It's 720. What the fuck? I mean, bad on me for buying it, I guess, but I thought it'd be a lot more versatile. Not versatile. I thought it'd be a lot more entertaining device than it actually turned out to be. All I do is watch YouTube on it. That's it.
Yeah, it was a cute device to have because everyone wanted it, right? And everyone thought it was, it's like the Wii. It's like, oh, it's this cool new thing. You have 2 little sticks that you can move around and you can do jumping jacks or box or whatever, and it'll show up on screen. Cute, right? So I think that's why it got bought. It's a very good kids family system. Now, who knows? I mean, it's gonna price out families because who's gonna buy their kid a $90 game?
See, and it's funny because it's something I didn't talk to you about, but on Amazon Prime, there's like a 6-7 part Nintendo documentary called Playing with Power. Playing with Power.
That was their slogan.
Yeah. There's a bunch of talking heads in it. The only one that I can recall off the top of my head is Will Wheaton and Allison Hayslip from G4 fame. Yeah. Allison still looks amazing. and it's hosted by a very well-known actor guy. I can't think of what his name is though. He was in Blade 3. He died. He was that guy. Sean Austin.
Yeah.
Right? Aston. Sean Aston.
No. Sean Aston. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's the voiceover that takes you through the thing in Talking Heads. But they were talking about the pricing in the documentary about just what the price game's at and whatnot. And it's just crazy. Now we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
It I don't know. $80 for a handheld game. Like, what else is it gonna do?
Well, I mean, so it's $60 now for original Switch games. $70 games are like for the PlayStation and Xbox, but $60 for Nintendo games. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know, because to me, I think they're gonna realize that like no one's gonna buy. Well, some people will,
yeah,
but not
people
enough
always
people
buy.
to buy. Yeah, not enough people are gonna buy $90 games. Which again, that's kind of cruel too, because that's their way of being like, yeah, get off the physical games, come to digital because it's $10 cheaper. So come over our side. So I don't know.
Well, I remembered the point of bringing this whole documentary thing up is that they brought out the NES. And everybody bought the NES. And people were buying 50 games for it. And then in 89, 91, Super Nintendo came out. And they one of the interviews, at the time interview that they showed, the Super Nintendo just came out. Are you going to be buying this, for the kids this Christmas? And the mom's like, why would I buy another machine? And why doesn't it play the games that I already have? The tapes. Why doesn't it play the tapes that I already have? So people were bitching about fucking backwards compatibility all the way back then.
Makes sense.
We didn't have a Super Nintendo. My friends did. So like I didn't have that issue or conversation with my parents like, hey, so I had to buy all new games for this one. We did 8-bit.
Straight to 32?
I think I picked up a Super down the line because I worked in video game stores.
You did, yeah.
So it was easy to pick up, a used one or one on a super discount. So I eventually had a Super and a 64. And then myself, that was like for the family and everything. And then for myself, I had a Dreamcast, a Saturn. I bought them all. PS2. My PS2 looks like Optimus Prime. Custom paint job and everything.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
That is cool.
Somebody stole my Dreamcast. That's how badass that machine was.
It was popular.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird having games around me all the time like that. It was never obsessive. They were just there.
Sure.
It was like, oh well, fuck. I'm sick. Price is Right is over. Might as well play some Super Mario or Super Mario World or some I don't know, Metal Gear Solid. But it was never like I never had a meltdown because I couldn't play a video game.
Yeah, no, it's a different world now. Especially, I feel it's a little more of an entitled. There's a little more entitlement nowadays, I think, than when we were kids. So we don't spank anymore. We don't like corporal.
Maybe
punish
people should be
anymore.
bringing that back. I don't know. I don't got kids, so don't listen to me.
I'm just saying, like, we were raised differently.
I threaten to beat teenagers' asses every day, but
yeah, which is probably surprising to them. Actually, that's probably new to them because it's not something that we normally do. We're usually people who just kind of give in.
Right.
If you whine and yell enough, we'll just give in. Right? Like, there's not a lot of pushback.
Right.
So children will whine and complain because their parents don't give pushback because they feel like it's bad parenting if you punish your kid,
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna, we'll pull the curtain back for a second, but I sometimes have to detain shoplifting minors and have to call their parents.
Okay.
And their parents show up. One parent showed up one time smelling like he just put the joint out and put it in his pocket and was
Good.
pissed off at his kid, not because he got caught shoplifting, but because he had to leave the house while the college football game was on.
Yeah.
At no point
Priorities.
was it, what did the kid take? What's going on? What are you doing? I'm pissed off that I had to come here and miss the game. Get in the coat. Let's leave. Let's get that fuck out of here. And I'm just wow. Well, hopefully on the way home you're beating his ass in the car, but
Nah.
there is a bunch of entitlement, but I don't understand where that all comes from unless it comes from parents not fucking parenting. Again, no kids over here, so I feel I have all the right in the world to say whatever the fuck I want and critique everybody that has kids.
Hey, no argument here. No argument here.
I used to, as a teenager, I used to love going to the grocery store. Not because I wanted to get groceries, but because I wanted to watch mostly moms shake the shit out of their kids and speak between their teeth and go, wait till we get home. Your father, whatever. Yeah, that kid's going to get his ass beat in the parking lot. That was fun for me. And, I'd get a soda and some chips and just walk around. Yeah. Well, let's finish up this last thing here before we get out of here for the day. Give them the extra
it's
juice
late.
here.
Gotta get out of here.
Well, I do got to work tomorrow. But
Yeah.
you went to WonderCon
Oh,
without
wait.
me.
Oh. We can wait till next week if you need to. Depending on
we
how-
can WonderCon it.
I'll try to make it. I'll try to make it as quick as possible because.
Well, Francis went to WonderCon without me, because he forgot to be like, here's a plane ticket to California. Come hang out.
That's true.
No,
I didn't-
there was no way for me to afford coming this year, unfortunately. But I'm glad, Francis, that you got to walk around in a carpeted convention hall and experience all the cosplay and sunshine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Real quick rundown. WonderCon is not the WonderCon we remember. Usually outside of the convention center, it's the banner with a bunch of ads. No ads. No TV, no movie, no advertisement, no endorsement.
Okay.
Indoors.
I mean, that is kind of been a big thing for WonderCon the years that I had been, that it was
Like you'd
more or
see
less
something out
sponsored
there.
by DC or Marvel or, some fucking production company.
Plain black lanyard, paper badges. No more plastic badges.
No more
like we did back in the
RFID?
day. No more RFID. No
Wow.
RFID. Security is fine. There's a lot of security, and
Sure.
there's people checking badges and whatnot. So there's that there still, but no more RFID. None of that. The only two named companies that had booths were Funko and stupid camera. Funko and I can never remember the one who make the geeky back, like ladies backpacks, ladies purses.
Anyway. The Star Wars affiliation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Ahsoka
I
Tano's
forget-
voice is the fucking the lady that runs it.
So they were the only two names that were there.
The Funko makes
No.
sense because they were there
Yeah.
all the years plus San Diego, so that makes sense.
Yes. So no other big names like Capcom used to be there, Namco, whatever, like all of the like some big companies, none. So when I said Nintendo didn't do an unveil there, because nobody was there except for Funko and the other thing, like that was it.
So was it like the Weta Workshop? Were they there?
No Weta Workshop.
Wow.
No, I don't even think
So was there an actual comic presence at WonderCon?
there was a comic presence there, but it was a lot of indies, a lot of mostly I would say it's mostly indies. I don't even think IDF. No, it's not IDF. That's what's the one? Dark Horse,
IDW.
stuff like that. IDW, Dark Horse. They weren't there. Nobody was there. It was just a bunch of smaller. Well, the T-shirt Tower guys were there.
Well, I mean, you can't go wrong with T-shirt
You
Tower.
can't go wrong with but yeah. So you did
Bunch
not
of people
see a
that
lot
are
of
so
that.
fucking tired that they're staring right at you, but they're looking right through you.
A lot of loot box.
Oh, can we
Like,
fucking get rid of the loot boxes?
yeah, it's a lot of those big boxes.
The mystery boxes. Mystery boxes.
Yeah, mystery
Can
boxes,
we
yeah.
can we get rid of those?
So there was like at least 4 or 5 of them there, mystery boxes.
Has anybody ever gotten anything cool out of a mystery box?
No, I mean I've done it, but I've never gotten anything cool.
I paid for a Transformer mystery box, a cheap one. Granted, it was a cheap one, but it still came with a couple cool things. But it came with a Transformer. I went to the Transformer forums. Nobody can tell me what the fuck it is, but it's a Transformer.
What's funny is I overheard someone there say, "Oh, by the way, we ran out of this particular one," and I'm like, "Oh, I guess they are running out of."
Well, I mean, people do buy them.
boxes.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like,
I
I'm
don't
not a Funko guy. So
No.
like opening my Transformers mystery box and getting a Funko Jazz. Okay, yeah, cool. It's Gen 1, but you know, cool, I guess.
Yeah. So there were more empty booths. There were more.
We could have had a table.
You easily. There were a lot of, and so I got there early because I'm like, okay, the previous years I would get there around the time that it was opening, and it'd be crowded, like right off the bat. Nope, this year everyone didn't come until noon, so that's when it got crowded. Was noon, but it was really sad that there wasn't a lot of people. Okay, so how can I critique WonderCon? Well, I only really paid attention for about an hour. After an hour, I walked the floor a little bit. I sat down, and I ended up hanging out with a couple people that sat at my table, and I just hung out with them.
I mean, that's what
For the
that's what
rest of the
Comic-Cons
day.
that's what Comic-Cons are supposed to be about, though.
Yeah, I didn't. I essentially. Well, and then I met up with some author friends of mine.
Oh, look at you. Some author friends of yours.
Yeah, they live out in LA, so it's a little easier. But yeah, they had a booth at WonderCon, so I got to hang out with them for a little bit, and then I hung out with a listener, Jalou. If you, I know Josh knows who Jalou is.
I know who Jalou is.
Yeah,
We've
I hung out
had
with
Filipino food together.
We've had Filipino food together, so I had dinner with him.
So
I was already planning to have dinner with
lumpia,
him.
lumpia.
Lumpia, yeah.
Lumpia.
Yeah, you remember. Yeah.
I saw it at the grocery store the other day, and it was a cold package, and I just went, "No, weren't they warm and crispy?"
So my only thing I have to say, yeah, they are warm and crispy, and they're delicious. I think one of my favorite of the Filipino foods. But yeah, the people I did hang out with, 2 Filipino ladies, and I fumbled the ball, did not asking the one who I was actively kind of like getting to know,
flirting with.
didn't ask for a number, didn't ask for any type of communication, because I was I left my group to talk to them because they were leaving. They had to go. I'm like, oh, it was really nice seeing you guys. It was so great. I loved hanging out with you. Thanks for letting me hang out with you all day. Blah blah. And I was kind of looking back, like, oh, I should probably go back to them. Never got anything from them. So I fumbled because
That's okay, but
she
they
was really,
fumbled too.
really cute. Yeah, that's true. They didn't ask me for anything either. They're just like, well, I guess we'll see you at the next con. And I'm like, yeah, sure.
I mean that was your opening right there, but
I know that was my opening.
well, you know,
I'm an idiot.
we won't bash you for it. We won't bash you for it.
You can, because I'm a loser and I can't believe
No,
I didn't
no,
do
no,
anything.
no, no.
But anyway,
You just needed your
That
loud white boy with you.
if you were there, 100%, I would have probably felt more comfortable being like, hey, you like Star Wars? You recognize my Darkwing Duck T-shirt immediately,
We're both Filipino.
which is something she pointed out a lot.
Oh. Mm.
Yeah.
Man, it's okay.
Yeah,
There'll be
I know.
another. There'll be another.
I'm sure we'll run into each other at another convention.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because they actually do go to all the conventions I go to. I'm like, how have I never run into you before? We go to the exact same conventions.
Well, now you know.
Yeah. But so there's that. So I didn't go to any panels. All the panels kind of sucked anyway. They were all, again, no industry panels, all fan panels. And none of them were really funny either, which I would have gone to a funny panel. Nothing really funny. And I feel like cosplay was a little low, wasn't as robust because the fountain was under repair. The fountain was under repair, so no one had a fountain to pose in front of.
Right.
And B, I feel like there were fewer cosplayers out there. I don't know, did not go out in droves this year, and I'm a little sad that WonderCon maybe not going downhill, but
Just on a
dropping
decline.
a little bit. Yeah, on a decline, exactly.
Well, I mean, nobody can hit it out the park every year.
No,
And let me ask, was the attendance comparable or was it lower?
so there were, like I said, usually the mornings, at least from my recall with you, the mornings were crowded, and it would be hard, like it'd be packed. The first couple hours, there were some vendors who didn't even bother to show up yet. First thing in the morning, there was like at least an artist alley. There's at least a dozen of them. Didn't even show up to open their booth until noon. So, yeah, they did show up eventually, but they didn't show up until later. And the crowd didn't last as long, so it wasn't as busy for as long. I think it was crowded between 12 and 3 or 4, and it started to die down around 5 o'clock. And I think you're right, EXO. Maybe fewer people are just going to cons in general, like they just aren't going. But WonderCon, I feel like because WonderCon is associated with San Diego and is part of like Comic-Con International, there's like a little bit more clout.
Right.
But there weren't a lot of celebrities. Like the biggest celebrities people were waiting in line for. No lines, like very few lines. But the line that did appear was for the original 97 X-Men cast, or 94 X-Men cast. Or maybe it's 97. Anyway, they were there, so the voice cast was there, so people were like really excited for that. But that was it. Like I'm like, who's the big? There's no really big celebrity people here. Like it felt
no Shat.
no. Well, he's over in Colorado.
Well, yeah,
he's too busy
coming
getting
to
ready
Colorado,
for
but
Colorado. Yeah,
He's probably sitting in a fucking air tank right now trying to get acclimated.
exactly. He's like, I need to breathe this air, this thin air.
This thin air, yeah.
So it didn't have the same clout. It didn't have the same attendance. I don't feel. I don't feel like it had the same attendance, and I don't feel it had the same presence.
I mean, if you saw a bunch of empty tables in Artist
did.
Alley, especially in Artist
No.
Alley,
Not just Artist Alley, but like, so there's the vendor area, and there's this one hallway. Okay, so it's hard to explain, but there's like this. Usually, there's a wall that was full of vendors when we were there, and that wall was empty. Nobody set up a booth in any of the wall space that used to take up that part of the convention center. And I'm like, oh, that's not good.
Well, I mean, and it's been a couple years since you last went, right?
I went 03. I went in 03.
Oh, 03?
Oh,
Wow.
03. 23. I just missed last year. Last year was the first year I missed.
Okay.
Even
but
then,
in
I
23, it was still popping.
Because you were there with me in 23.
What? Oh, yeah, I was.
I'm pretty sure you were. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
yeah. That's when we took over the booth. No,
Yeah.
that was 20.
Well, yeah, we took over we took over the booth in the small press area.
Yeah.
They had a little booth that we just sat at. But imagine that times 20. Like there were a bunch of just tables set out, looking like ready to have somebody, and a lot of them had little signs on top. It's like, oh, blah blah blah.
Oh, sure, right. Reserved for whoever.
Yeah, and they just didn't show. Whoever it was for never came out. Never came out.
Wow.
So,
I guess, I mean, we'll see what
that?
happens for next year, but, it's weird because there were some people on my social media, friends list, whatever, that went. So, I mean, there's definitely things that were going on, but
yeah,
like it's crazy to hear that, like, nobody was there. I mean, the Funko craze, I thought, died like 4 years ago.
No, still going strong and push. The arcade voice cast were not there. It was only the animated series. Sadly, it would have been great to have like Colossus and Nightcrawler just hanging out with their voice. No, everyone wanted to talk to. The big one was the guy who voiced Wolverine. That was the one everyone wanted to talk to.
Oh, sure.
But
call him Bub.
yeah, it was. I think you would have had the same feeling, because again, a lot of vendors didn't have big groups. A lot of like people were just sitting around. As a matter of fact, again, the first couple hours, people were actively like, hey, hi, come on out, like actively soliciting, which you normally don't see at WonderCon, where they have to actively solicit. They were actively waving at people and like, come on over, out, like talking to people.
Well, I mean, good for them, because more times than not, when you go to Artist Alley, everybody's got their head down while they scan their phone or read a book. They're not trying to get anybody. But then at the same time, you can't be offended when you walk into an Artist Alley and people are trying to solicit your attention because you just walked into a sales floor.
Mm-hmm.
So you
exactly.
You should expect that. What you shouldn't really expect is to see the salespeople looking at their phones.
Yeah, so it was a little, it was. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for another reason, but I enjoyed it.
We all love having our ego stroked.
Yeah, it was just nice to hang out with some people.
Yeah.
And then just again I think that's the way I want to start approaching conventions anyway, is people. I'm not really there anymore. I don't know if I really want to go to a con anymore for celebrity stuff or vendors. Well, vendors a little bit, but like panels, I want to be there because I know someone who's there and I want to hang out with that person, and I want to be like, hey buddy, how's it going, or whatever, stuff like that. Like that's kind of how I feel like if I go back to another con, which I will, but I'm like, that's how I want to approach conventions. It's like,
sure,
I know who you are. That's cool. Let's hang out. So
yeah, I mean, it's no fun to go to a show by yourself.
No.
The excitement of walking around by yourself and seeing tons of cool stuff and having sensory overload by yourself wears off really fast.
You need a friend. Yeah,
you need a friend. Otherwise,
or find them.
Or find them. Yes, but because otherwise, I have admittedly gone to shows and hung out for an hour and been like, "Yep, I'm leaving."
Yeah. 100%.
Like, I've seen everything here, because it's usually smaller shows that I would do that at, and I don't know anybody here, and I'm not friendly enough to start talking to people. I am, but not really, not in that mood. You got to be in the mood for it.
Yeah.
And there's nobody here, so I'm gonna go ahead and go.
What are you gonna do?
You know, I mean, it's always great to see, you know, vendors that you know, artists that you know, but
Yeah.
you know, whatever the case, but you need a little bit more than that because they got a job to do. They're trying to make money. They can't be sitting around talking about you or talking with you about how slow it is.
They might tell you to come back next time with money, you know? I mean,
yeah. Sucks that that's the last thing he said to us. You know, and like the last
you
time
talked to him after that.
So I had one other interaction with him.
Yeah.
But when I said hi to him, he shook his head no at me and turned around and walked away. The showrunner that I was standing next to said, "What did you do to Neil for him to walk away from you?" And then I had to explain to him that we'd spent the last 18 months annoying the shit out of him trying to be his friend.
Yeah.
Then he thought it was funny.
It is.
It is.
And
you know what? I think King of the Hill might be coming back. So, and I hope Joel gets a
King of the Hill
gets a little bit of another run at character development.
It'd be nice.
It would be. Emmy Award winning, man. I got nothing else, man.
Nope.
WonderCon, we'll try and hit it next year. And we can both see how good or bad it is compared to the last time that I was there. And
watch next year be like every big company like wants to come.
What was the problem, Francis? And we could find some diner to go to on the way back, and
we want to impress Josh, so we're gonna all come in because we want Josh to be.
Exactly.
We want him to put us in his compilation intro bumper, so we need to impress the hell out of Josh.
Hey, I wouldn't let my wingman, you know, get a shot and not take it.
Thanks.
I got his number. I'll just give it to you.
Yeah. I would have loved that actually. That'd have been amazing because
He's too shy to ask for it, but I know he wants to. So here's his number.
Yeah, well, I think I was at least. Maybe I wasn't.
I'm just saying.
But anyway,
I'm just saying. But no, I missed that I wasn't able to go. You know, you couldn't get embarrassed by me getting jacked up by Disney security while I tried to bring weed into Disney.
So security wasn't that like as much as there was security, they were not doing the like as thorough a job as I thought they should have, like and stuff. I'm like, where's all the bag checkers? Where's all the people being all nosy about stuff?
With their little stick with the flashlight attached to it, so they can
it's like where
go through your bag and not touch anything.
There are like 3 cops there. That was it. Like usually,
did you compliment them on their costumes?
I should have. They were all hanging out together. Like they're all hanging out together, checking out all of the lady cosplayers.
Oh, sure. Of course they were. Yeah. Of course they were. Well, you know, maybe next year we'll check out the lady cosplayers and the dude cosplayers and the everything else cosplayers, because that'd be fun. And I need to get back out to California because it's home after all. Ultimately home.
It technically is. I was just saying, technically is.
But that's going to do it for us this week. Get you a little bit of extra juice. Francis, tell everybody your fancy fucking place where they can find you at.
You need to make one. Linktree.com/AKA the other guy. That has the books, that has my social media, that has my everything. As a matter of fact, if I ever make a new card for me, that's what I'm passing out. You want it? Here, take a card. Just the Linktree address on there. Done.
Well, it's not that easy for me. You can find me at 303_ninja on the Twitters, 303ninja on the Instagram. Call us, text voicemail 314-764-7631. Spells out POI Pod 1. Email us at thepoipodcast@gmail.com. That's everything, I think. Yeah. Do you like mangoes?
Yes. Why do you ask about mangoes? I
Because
like
they're
mangoes.
weird.
Mangoes are great. Mangoes are fleshy and sweet and delicious.
I only kind of like
And
mangoes.
yeah, you have to slice them weird.
Yeah, you ever had dragon fruit?
I've never had dragon fruit though, but I've had it in a drink, and I think dragon fruit in a drink is amazing.
What about
Too many seeds though.
what about star fruit?
I always want to pick up a star at my local Safeway / Vons. They have star fruit, and I always want to pick one up because they look so cool. But I don't know how to eat them because they are shaped like star.
right. I get intimidated by things I'm not really aware of what they are. How do you eat that?
I don't know.
There's like
Do you
weird
peel it?
bananas at the grocery store. You ever seen the weird bananas? They're not bananas. They're like
The
brown.
plantains?
Yeah.
Oh, the brown ones. Yeah.
Like I almost got a brown one time. They're like, wait a second, this isn't a banana. Like
They're
regular
very
banana.
fibrous. They're very fibrous and often not as sweet as you think they're gonna be.
Well, bananas are good. They have
They're pretty good.
potassium
I
in
like
them. The song's over. We're leaving. Bye.